Hey, folks, glad you tuned in here to the Missouri Sports Network. I'm Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy here, powered by KICK 92.3 Springfield, Missouri, and brought to you by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, the Bank of Billings, Doak Propane, Played Against Sports, and Great Southern Bank. Well, it's a great pleasure to welcome to the Missouri Sports Network the head football coach of the Maryville Spoof Hounds, Coach Matt Webb. Coach Webb, hey, thanks so much for your time today.
Well, thank you for having me, Guy. I always enjoy doing these summer previews, and you're always someone I look forward to talking to. And obviously, to be represented, around the state is something we're very proud of.
Coach, you've earned that. You're 113 and 15 over your last 10 years there at Maryville. You've got three state titles. You've played in the state championship game 6 times, including last year against Blair Oaks, who you happened to open with this year. Kind of talk about last year's run and then what you've got to replace as you go into the 2021 season.
Sure. Last year, obviously the first thing I think any of us, whether you're a sports fan or not, thinks of a last season in high school sports and stuff. I think the first thing that goes to your mind is how did COVID, affect you and your team and your season. And it hit us early last year. We opened up with Blair Oaks too, and had several guys out. And in that game, we ended up losing our starting quarterback, who went on and signed with University of Central Missouri, and a really good player for us, and hurt his knee in the second half of that opening game. So not only do we deal with COVID, but we replaced our quarterback, and throughout the season. And really, the thing I remember about last year is the commitment and the team bond those guys had. Once we had that early loss to Blair Oaks, and we really started kind of gelling, and then we ended up playing a really good Odessa team. We had to pick up a game mid-season that somebody else had canceled on us, and lo and behold, the only team that we could get to play was Odessa, the defending Class 3 state champs. So, we went and lost to them, and then really it was the way our team rebounded, made a great playoff run, had a classic semifinal game here at home against Cassville, another dominant team out of Southwest Missouri, and then matched up with Blair Oaks in the championship, and really, you sit there and you think of the success we've had and the expectations of Maryville, and making it to a state championship and losing to a team like Blair Oaks, a program. I have such respect for Ted LePage and the Blair Oaks, and the programs really tend to mirror each other in recent years. Just we feel like we match up good with them, and we always appreciate that early season matchup, and it's always kind of a war and a way to start the year off, a kickoff classic type thing is what we've called it. And but you really just remember the times you have the kids and being able to play 15 games. That's all the state allows you to play. The kids listened. We overcame adversity, really gelled as the season went along, and just made a great playoff run. And obviously, we wish to win one in the end, but certainly a lot of great memories that we'll never forget.
Coach, as you look back at last year's team and really the success that you've had over the past decade, and Maryville is somewhat of Titletown. I mean, Titletown, Missouri, with what the college has done at the basketball level, the football level. How much does that community feed off of that? And how much does just your individual school district feed off of the fact that every month it seemed like there's a new national trophy coming into Maryville?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It is. It's I'm from here. I was born and raised in Maryville, and graduated high school in '93. And this time this summer, the corn crop is as high as you can reach it, in the sky. And we call it God's country. I know a lot of places do, but it is. It's a special feeling to be a part of. Got that Titletown thing going, and our volleyball high school volleyball program last year won its first ever state championship, and those girls, and they're part of it now. And obviously the success that the Northwest Bearcats have had both in football and basketball, and Coach McCollum and Coach Wright, and the type of programs. And what's unique to me is, I think, and obviously with football, being here in Maryville, is all the coaches and both administrations, whether it's our school district or Northwest or our community, everybody puts a huge emphasis on doing what's best for the kids. And for the opportunities that, whether you are a high school athlete at the high school level or a college athlete at the college level, when you play for Maryville or Northwest or in this title town environment, the expectations are high, and we're gonna have a ton of support. It is a fun time. The weekends that match up the best seem to be when you've got like a home Friday night football game, and the Bearcats have an afternoon game on Saturday, and then it just kind of rolls into that end of the year, the playoff runs, and the Bearcat basketball starts up, and it's an exciting place to be. And we're very fortunate to have very good players and great support, and our local community. We do a lot to support them, and they support us very well.
Coach, as you look forward to this 21-22 season, what are some kids or key points on your football team, key players that you're going to have to replace that you lost either probably graduation? Who are you going to have to step up and really kind of carry the water, so to speak, for the Spoofhounds?
Sure. We've had a slogan, and it's printed on our walls in our high school and on our T-shirts and stuff, and it says, "Tradition never graduates." And when you have a great tradition, like we've been able to build here, and a great culture, each year every program goes through the graduation, and you lose players and you get new ones coming up. But those younger guys just seem to kind of chomp at the bit, and they're like, okay, now it's my time, and what we've seen is obviously every year we've got to replace players. I'll start at our quarterback position. While it was unfortunate that we lost our Ben Walker, our quarterback, game one last year, we got invaluable experience on a young man that's returning. He'll be a senior this year, Connor Drake. Connor Drake led us to a state championship title appearance last year. He can run our offense. He's got all the tools. It's great to have a returning quarterback that played, in all 15 games last year on the way to a state championship appearance. Our running backs are good. We've got we graduated again our fullback position, but we've been able to play our wing T system where we rotate so many players through that a lot of those guys have some aged experience to step in, and that's what I mean. It's their time to shine. It's their time to get out there and make those plays, and then we've got to replace a couple of linemen up front, just like every year. And that's kind of the bread and butter for us, and it starts on the line of scrimmage. I know every high school coach tells you that, but you talk about culture and guys that are treated good. There's a local Gray's restaurant here in town, Truck Stop. Every Friday morning, the linemen go out there, and it's like a tradition. That boy, those linemen, they fill their plates full of pancakes, and those waitresses and servers, they love the linemen coming out there. So our linemen, we'll get them going and get them where they need to be. And on defense, we feel like we're going to need to replace our starting defensive backs. We had 4 seniors there, and again, guys stepping up that are now juniors will be seniors and in those varsity positions. But those are some needs that we'll need to fill this year.
Visiting with Coach Matt Webb from Maryville, high school football coach. And Coach Webb, as you look at your schedule and you being tied to this program, this community for so long, what are games that your community and even you as a coach, really look forward to? That rivalry game, that respect game. What are games that are on your schedule that your community and you really have just a good taste in your mouth and can't wait to get to?
Sure. I remember when I was in high school in Chillicothe, this is back in the early 90s, and Chillicothe was always had some great teams, very similar type community, a lot of pride in their football program, and we just had some great battles, and that rivalry has continued to build. And in our 2017 run, they beat us in the regular season, and then we needed to beat them for a district championship to go on and win state on the road in a district game, which we hadn't been able to. We've usually hosted been the number 1 seed, and so we had to go on the road. That rivalry is still there, and the head coach that I played for that really started this tradition with Maryville Spoofhounds back in the early 90s. His name is Chuck Litteris, and he came in about the same time that Mel Churchma came to Northwest Missouri State, and Coach Litteris passed away this spring, kind of suddenly, and so we've all been kind of thinking about those old rivalries and reminding kids that, hey, Savannah's just 30 minutes down the road. And that's always been, we play for that Highway 71 trophy. And those are special games. And I remember Coach Litteris talking about those. And so it's a unique experience to kind of be on the other side of it now and helping to honor what he started here and pass those traditions on to the kids now in our community and in our program. But I would say those 2 games, Chillicothe and Savannah, are something that I remember have been longtime rivalries and still are to this day.
Outstanding. Coach Webb, as always, I just appreciate you being generous with your time. Anytime I've reached out to you, you've responded, and we've been able to visit with you. And hearing this on the new Missouri Sports Network, it's tremendous that you had some time today, and I really appreciate you being generous with your time.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I think I would speak for every high school football coach in the state that this summer's been very busy, and it's a good to be busy, compared to last summer. I think everybody looks back and you're like, man, it's busy. It's flying by. And you're like, well, this is what it should be like. Last summer we had, outdoor workouts and no camps, and we didn't even know if we're going to play a season, and just the uncertainty. So I sure hope that everybody's enjoying this busy time and looking forward to hopefully some new normalcy around the state and getting a regular football season in and getting those things going.
You bet. Coach Webb, hey, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You're listening to the Missouri Sports Network here on KICK 92.3 and powered by Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks. Plating in sports, Great Southern Bank. And we'll be back after these messages from KICK.